Hello, dear friends. Once again, a hearty welcome from South Florida. And the waters that you see behind me are those of beautiful Deerfield Beach, Florida. The very beach that my family and I would use should we ever come to the beach. Something that unfortunately doesn't happen with the frequency that it could. But this is the one closest to our home and also a very good one in this region. I want to share with you an experience that I had many years ago while I was still a student. And to be more precise, I can tell you that it was at least 50 years ago, maybe even 1 year additionally. I decided to take a summer course at one of our southern universities here in the United States and have the credits transferred to the institution which I was attending with regularity. Because it was a famous school and I believe in the values that they upheld, so that would be a good experience, and it was very significant for me. And one thing that occurred every day of the week in those short terms that sometimes lasted 1 or even 2 full weeks was that we had a daily assembly where the students would come, maybe sing something, and hear a talk either from an outsider or from a local member of the faculty. And what I want to share with you happened on that particular day when the Dean of the School of Education was the speaker. He had returned not too long ago from serving the United States Armed Forces in the Korean War, which had just ended. And he shared an interesting illustration that has stayed with me ever since. He mentioned that there was a period that was extremely difficult for his troops. They were fighting very intensely a dangerous and difficult battle. And sometimes they went for many hours without any food so as to concentrate fully in what they were doing. And yet when the evening came, it was always guaranteed for them during that period a bowl or two of potato soup. And that became the longing for each of those days because they came to like the potato soup in the midst of all of the difficulties that the day brought to each of them. But thank God the war ended and those soldiers were prepared to return to the United States. They embarked the airplanes that would bring them back home, and in a few stops in between, they were put in first-class hotels, sometimes only for a night or at most 2, and they had the right to use all of the opportunities available in the restaurant of the best hotels that they attended, from which they could order the most juicy steaks that they desired, or whatever else that the menu offered them. Now, can you imagine if anyone would insist on having another bowl of potato soup in that context? Obviously, they were not that crazy because they had reached the very best available, and obviously they would be choosing the very best, which they did en route home. And this brings to us an important lesson. God puts us in the world where we are faced with manifold difficulties. Sometimes we have to do things that are distasteful to us, and yet they are necessary. Other times we can do things that are even despicable, but within the moral norms that God would allow us to fulfill them. But there always comes the time when something better is made available to us. And only a crazy person would insist on going back to all of the previous activities that were meaningless and in many cases worthless when they could enjoy the very best. My hope is that you and me will always choose the best, because it is there somewhere, fully available to us. And to the extent that this is our primary search, we shall find it, and we shall enjoy the benefits that come with that. So take to heart, my friend, in all of the circumstances of life that you face, choose always the best. And Almighty God Himself will grant you His best. Bye-bye.